My voice is still messed up, so it's going to sound like I'm going through puberty a few times throughout this video, and that's just the way it's gonna be. I'm gonna state something obvious now. Everyone finds different things fun. That's a core component to remember about life. I feel like in the age of Twitter, that's just been lost, where if someone finds something shitty that you enjoy, they take it as like a personal attack on their honor, and they'll fight tooth and nail to prove that they're wrong for not liking what they like. But the reason I mention that is even though everyone finds different things fun or different things enjoyable, there is one unifying pleasure that everyone can agree on, and that's watching Billy Mitchell catch L's. Now, I know this isn't the most flattering image, but it's so fitting for today's story. Someone said it best: Billy Mitchell looks cel-shaded and his hair looks like he's perpetually wearing a hoodie. Now, you know him potentially as the King of Kong or the self-proclaimed video game player of the century, but what he actually is the biggest fucking clown of this century. He is Bozo incarnate. He used to be known for video game high scores, but upon further inspection, it's been confirmed pretty much without a shadow of a doubt that he is just a cheater. They're not legitimate achievements that he's obtained. It's all fraudulent. So Billy Mitchell was outed as a cheater, and instead of just fading away into the shadow realm gracefully, he instead started lashing out, and now he's become known for frivolous bullshit lawsuits against anyone who makes fun of him or even really talks somewhat negatively about him. That is his claim to fame now. Just nonsense lawsuits and making a fool of himself publicly. He can't help himself. He's addicted to humiliation. It's pathetic. And I have covered every single one of his losses pretty much because a friend of mine who's an incredible YouTuber named Carl Jobst has been not only involved in lawsuits with Billy Mitchell, but covering every fucking blunder he's ever made and how he continues to beclown himself in front of everybody. I love Carl's content, and I especially love his Billy Mitchell content. Can't recommend it enough. And today, I want to talk about his most recent one. Like I said, everyone has different tastes, but I'm going to tell you, everyone can agree that the ultimate pleasure doesn't come from the first time you try ice cream or when you lose your virginity. The ultimate pleasure is laughing at Billy Mitchell losing. And he just lost again. In fact, I don't think he's ever won a single legal case or anything like that. He tries to bully people with it and it always blows up in his face. He always ends up with more shit on his face than two girls, one cup. So, I'm just going to break down the situation. I'll link Carl's video if you want the in-depth review of it, but I just want to give you the cliff notes here so we can just start pointing and laughing at this guy. He, of course, has like a million active lawsuits, but the one we're focusing on today was one that he had levied against a man named David Race. David Race used to actually be part of Billy Mitchell's team. He was very staunchly supporting Billy Mitchell when all of the cheating allegations came to light. He actually worked very hard to prove that Billy Mitchell was legitimate. He wasn't a cheater, and everyone accusing him of cheating was wrong. However, once he really... That was tragic, listening to that series of voice cracks there, but not much I can do about it right now. But once David really dug into the meat of it, like got into the weeds and investigated Billy Mitchell and all of the allegations, he came to the conclusion that everyone else had, that he was a cheater. So, David Race no longer supports Billy Mitchell or defends him from these allegations. In fact, he openly mocks Billy Mitchell and calls him a cheater now. Now, the lawsuit kind of boiled down to Billy Mitchell was trying to silence David Race because David had an Excalibur tier weapon to use against Billy and his credibility in the legal sense. What happened is, since David and Billy used to be so close, Billy had actually confided a nefarious, evil anime character supervillain plot where he was going to fake a bunch of shit in order to make people look stupid. I can't even begin to explain how stupid his logic was with this whole plan, but Billy Mitchell had called David in order to declassify his top secret scheme here, which basically boiled down to just being extremely fucking petty and doing some shady shit in order to make people feel silly, make them look silly and goofy. It's a horrible, horrible plan. But why it's important is because it showed that Billy was more than willing to lie, which is very bad for his credibility, obviously. So this being used as evidence would be pretty damning. The transcript is here. The audio is in Carl's video if you want to hear it in its entirety. I'm just going to show you the transcript. You can see that David's literally just one-wording him. He's just saying, yeah. He's just like actually holding spacebar through this conversation to skip through the dialogue with Billy as he's divulging this galaxy brain plan. It's so fucking embarrassing from Billy. Now, after this conversation was recorded and Billy became aware of it, he issued a lawsuit against David because it's pretty bad for Billy here. And he was suing him because he had been recorded without his consent. And Billy is in Florida, where it's a two-party consent state, so you would have to have Billy's permission to record this phone call. However, David lives in Ohio, which is a one-party consent state. So David did not need permission to record that phone call. So Billy Mitchell's lawsuit had no legs at all. But it did take 2 years before it got thrown out. But it did get thrown out because Billy Mitchell, he knows nothing except how to lose. So this did get thrown out. It took 2 years, and there was a lot of, like, less than stellar legal work done for David here because this should have been thrown out very quickly. Since David was the one that recorded it in a one-party consent state, he wasn't obligated to play by Florida's rules. That doesn't even make sense. It's not logical whatsoever, which Carl points out as well. So David slam dunked this case. He did win, but it cost him a lot of money. And unfortunately, Billy Mitchell's not done. He is now escalating this case to the fucking Supreme Court of Florida, where I am confident he will lose once again, as he always has. He has actually been born in this world to be a loser, to be laughed at. That is Billy Mitchell's legacy, but I wanted to cover this most recent lawsuit because it's just another fat fucking L for Billy Mitchell in such a silly way. So yeah, that's really about it. I look forward to seeing Billy Mitchell lose more lawsuits that he himself keeps filing. Yeah, that's about it. See ya.